The massive golden throne room of the Galactic Dominion stretched for miles. Empress Vextera sat on her crystal throne, her 6 eyes glowing with pride. She ruled over 847 star systems. For 3,000 years, her people had been the strongest in the galaxy. "My Empress," said General Kurthak as he walked into the room. His heavy footsteps echoed on the marble floor. "We have received new reports from the Outer Rim." The Empress looked bored. "What now? Another species wants to join our great empire." "No, my Empress, this is different. Our scouts have found a species called humans. They have been building colonies in secret for 200 years. Vextera laughed. The sound was like breaking glass. "Humans, what a silly name. Are they another group of clever animals who think they can challenge us?" General Kurthak pulled out a small device. It showed images of human cities and ships. They seemed to have some technology, but nothing special. Their ships look basic. Their weapons appear simple. The Empress stood up from her throne. She was 12 feet tall, and her skin sparkled like diamonds. "How many ships do they have?" "Our scouts counted maybe 300 ships across all their systems. Very small numbers." "My Empress, 300. Vextera laughed again. "We have 50,000 warships. These humans are like ants trying to fight dragons." She walked to the huge window that showed space. Thousands of Dominion ships flew in perfect formation outside. Each ship was 3 miles long and covered in weapons. "Send a patrol fleet," she said without turning around. "Teach these humans their place. Show them what happens when lesser species try to hide from the Dominion." General Kurthak bowed. "How many ships should I send?" "My Empress, 20 ships should be enough. Maybe 30 if you want to be safe. These humans will surrender when they see our power." 3 days later, Captain Mortex commanded the Dominion patrol fleet as it flew toward the human colony called New Busan. He fought in many battles and conquered dozens of species. This mission felt too easy. "Captain," said his second officer, "we are approaching the human system. Our sensors show one planet with cities and several small ships." Captain Mortex looked at the screen. The human ships were tiny compared to his warships. "How many ships do they have?" "Only 12 ships, Captain. They look very old and weak." 12 ships against our 30. Mortex smiled, showing his sharp teeth. "This will be over in minutes." He opened communications to the human planet. "Attention, humans. This is Captain Mortex of the Galactic Dominion. You have been building colonies without permission. Surrender now, and we will not destroy your cities." The response came quickly. A human voice spoke in perfect Galactic Standard language. "This is Admiral Taeho Kim of the Human Defense Fleet. You are in human space. Turn around and leave immediately." The Dominion bridge crew laughed. Admiral Taeho Kim sounded calm, almost bored. "Admiral Kim," said Captain Mortex, "you have 12 small ships. We have 30 warships. Do you really want to fight us?" "Captain," Admiral Kim replied, "you have made a big mistake coming here. This is your last chance to leave." More laughter filled the bridge. Captain Mortex could not believe the humans' attitude. "Attack formation," he ordered. "Show these humans the power of the Dominion." The 30 Dominion warships moved into battle positions, their weapons charged up, ready to destroy the tiny human fleet. But something strange happened. The 12 human ships suddenly disappeared from all sensors. "Where did they go?" shouted Captain Mortex. "I don't know, Captain. They just vanished." Then the attacks began. The human ships appeared behind the Dominion fleet like ghosts. Their weapons were not the simple guns the scouts had reported. Beams of pure energy cut through Dominion shields like they were made of paper. Impossible. Captain Mortex watched 3 of his ships explode in seconds. "Our shields are the strongest." In the galaxy, the human ships moved in ways that should not be possible. They turned sharp corners at full speed. They stopped and started instantly. They seemed to dance around the heavy Dominion warships. "Captain," screamed the weapons officer, "our guns cannot hit them. They move too fast. Fire everything." Mortex ordered, "Destroy them all." The Dominion ships fired thousands of shots, but the human ships dodged every one. Meanwhile, human weapons kept cutting through Dominion armor like it was nothing. Admiral Kim's voice came over the communications again. "Captain Mortex, you should have listened. Surrender now, and we will let some of you live." "Never," Mortex shouted back. "The Dominion does not surrender to lesser species." "Then you choose death," Admiral Kim said sadly. The human attack became even more intense. Their ships worked together perfectly, like they shared one mind. 5 human ships surrounded each Dominion warship and attacked from all sides at once. Captain Mortex watched his fleet die. In 20 minutes, 25 of his 30 ships were destroyed. The 5 remaining ships were badly damaged and could barely fly. "Retreat." He finally ordered all ships retreat immediately. The surviving Dominion ships tried to escape, but the human ships followed them easily. For more ships exploded before they could jump to hyperspace. Only Captain Mortex's ship made it out alive, and it was barely holding together. Back on the Dominion capital world, Empress Vexthera waited. For news of victory, she expected Captain Mortex to return with stories of easy conquests. Instead, General Kurthak ran into the throne room with a terrified expression. "My Empress, Captain Mortex has returned." "Good," she said. "Did the humans surrender quickly?" "No, my Empress, the humans. They destroyed our fleet." Vexthera's 6 eyes went wide. "What did you say?" 29 ships destroyed. Only Captain Mortex escaped. The humans had weapons and technology we have never seen before. The Empress stood up slowly. "This is impossible. Our ships are the most advanced in the galaxy. How could primitive humans defeat us?" General Kurtok played a recording from Captain Mortex's ship. It showed the battle in terrible detail. The human ships moving like lightning, Dominion warships exploding one after another, the complete destruction of a fleet that should have been unbeatable. "My Empress," General Kurthak said quietly, "I think we have made a very big mistake. These humans are not primitive at all." "Empress." Vexthera stared at the recording. For the first time in her long life, she felt something new and frightening. "Fear. Send word to all fleet commanders," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "We need to learn everything about these humans, everything." As the news spread through the Dominion, one question echoed in every mind. If humans could destroy 30 warships with only 12, what would happen when their real fleet arrived? In the darkness of space, the answer was already coming. On Earth, deep inside the United Human Coalition building, President Yoonji Han sat at a round table with her top leaders. The room was silent except for the soft hum of computers. Everyone waited for her to speak. "The Dominion attacked Nubus 3 hours ago," President Han said. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were hard like steel. "Admiral Kim's defense fleet destroyed 29 of their 30 ships." The room stayed quiet. This news was not a surprise to anyone there. Dr. Kung Soo Choi, the chief military strategist, leaned forward. "Madam President, this means the Dominion knows about us now. They will come back with bigger fleets." President Han nodded. "Yes, they will. And when they do, we will be ready." She pressed a button on the table. The lights dimmed and a huge hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed the entire galaxy with thousands of glowing dots. "For 50 years, we have been preparing for this day," President Han said. "Ever since the Dominion captured our first exploration ship and enslaved our people." Captain Hyeon Woonam, leader of the stealth reconnaissance ships, stood up. "My teams have been mapping Dominion space for 20 years. We know where every important base, factory, and command center is located." The hologram changed to show detailed maps of Dominion territory. Red dots marked military bases. Blue dots showed factory worlds. Yellow dots were command centers. "How many people remember the Starlight incident?" President Han asked. Several hands went up. Dr. Choi spoke first. "I was on that ship, Madam President. I was 23 years old. The Dominion captured us. When we were just exploring, they made us slaves for 5 years before we escaped." His voice became angry. "They treated us like animals. They said humans were too stupid to be free. They laughed when we begged for mercy." President Han's expression grew harder. 47 humans were on that ship. Only 12 came home. The others died in Dominion slave camps. She stood up and walked around the table. "That day, we made a promise. We would never let this happen again. We would become strong enough to protect ourselves and others." The hologram changed again. Now, it showed Earth's solar system, but it looked very different. Hundreds of space stations orbited the planets. Massive shipyards built new vessels every day. Defense platforms covered every approach to Earth. "We have been building in secret," President Han continued. "The Dominion thinks we are primitive. They believe we only have a few hundred ships. They are very wrong." Dr. Choi smiled for the first time. "Show them, Madam President." President Han pressed another button. The hologram expanded to show the entire human territory. What everyone saw took their breath away. Thousands upon thousands of ships filled the display. They were organized in hundreds of fleets across dozens of star systems. The smallest ships were destroyers. The largest were massive dreadnoughts, bigger than cities. "We have built 2,847 warships," President Han announced. "Every ship uses technology. The Dominion has never seen. Every ship is crewed by people who remember what the Dominion did to us." Admiral Tae-ho Kim's image appeared on the main screen. He was calling from Nubus. "On Madam President," Admiral Kim said, "the Dominion ship that escaped will report back to their leaders. They will send a much larger fleet next time." "How long do we have?" President Han asked. "Maybe 2 weeks, maybe less. They will want to hit us hard and fast." President Han turned to face everyone in the room. "Then we strike first. Dr. Choi, is Operation Thunderstrike ready?" Dr. Choi stood up and walked to the hologram. "Yes, Madam President. We will attack 12 major Dominion systems at the same time. Each attack will be led by one of our best admirals." The hologram showed the targets. Each was a critical Dominion stronghold that had been untouched for thousands of years. Captain Nam, President Han, said, "How good is our intelligence?" Captain Nam smiled. "Perfect, Madam President. My stealth ships have been watching these targets for years. We know how many ships they have, what weapons they use, and how they fight. We even know when their guards change shifts." "What about allies?" asked General Boyoung Lim, head of planetary defense. "Will other species help us?" A new voice spoke from the corner of the room. "Sujin, you stepped into the light." She was the diplomatic attaché, but her real job was much more secret. "I have been working with resistance groups across the galaxy," Sujin said. "Dozens of species hate the Dominion. They are waiting for someone strong enough to lead them in revolt." "How many ships can they provide?" President Han asked. "Over 1,000 ships from 15 different species. They are not as advanced as our ships, but they know Dominion tactics very well." Dr. Choi pulled up new data on the hologram. "Madam President, our ships have 3 major advantages. First, our quantum fold engines make us almost impossible to hit. Second, our adaptive shields learn from enemy weapons and get stronger during battle. Third, our AI tactical systems can predict enemy moves before they make them." President Han walked back to her chair but did not sit down. "The Dominion has ruled the galaxy through fear and cruelty for 3,000 years. They destroy entire species for fun. They enslave anyone who cannot fight back. They believe they are gods." Her voice grew louder. "Today, we prove they are wrong. Today, we show the galaxy that bullies can be beaten. Today, we begin the liberation of every species the Dominion has crushed." She looked at each person in the room. "This will not be easy. The Dominion has millions of ships and billions of soldiers. But we have something they do not have. We fight for justice, not conquest. We fight to free people, not enslave them." Admiral Kim's voice came through the speakers again. "Madam President, the main battle fleet is ready to launch. All ships are fueled and armed. All crews are at battle stations." "Captain Nam, are your reconnaissance ships in position?" "Yes, Madam President. We have eyes on all 12 targets." "Sujin, are our allies ready?" "They are waiting for your signal, Madam President." President Han sat down and placed her hands on the table. For a moment, she looked very tired. The weight of starting a galactic war was heavy on her shoulders. Then she looked up, and her eyes were filled with determination. "Send the order to all fleets. Operation Thunderstrike begins in 6 hours. May the ancestors guide us to victory." As the meeting ended, alarms began sounding throughout human space. On thousands of ships, crews prepared for the largest military operation in human history. In deep space, the massive human armada began to move. Ships that had been hidden for decades came out of secret bases. The largest fleet humanity had ever assembled, prepared to jump to hyperspace. The Dominion thought they were dealing with a small, primitive species. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The war for galactic freedom was about to begin. At exactly 0800 Galactic Standard Time, the human fleets appeared in 12 different star systems. The attacks happened at the same moment, thousands of light years apart. The first target was the Kepler 442 system, home to the Dominion's biggest military base. Commander Inhobe led Phoenix Squadron as they emerged from hyperspace. "All ships, battle formation." Commander Bay ordered his 24 fighters spread out like a deadly flower. The Dominion base was huge. It was built into an asteroid and had enough firepower to destroy planets. Over 200 Dominion ships protected it. "Sir," said his wingman, "they have us outnumbered 10 to 1. "Good," Commander Bay smiled. "That means we won't run out of targets." Before the Dominion could react, the human ships attacked. Phoenix Squadron moved like lightning through space. Their quantum fold engines made them appear and disappear instantly. Lieutenant Ji-hoon Esto, the youngest pilot in the squadron, dove straight into the enemy formation. His ship twisted and turned in impossible ways. Dominion fighters tried to follow him but crashed into each other instead. "This is impossible," screamed a Dominion pilot over the radio. "How can they move like that?" Lieutenant Seo's ship spun upside down while flying forward at full speed. His weapons never stopped firing. In 2 minutes, he destroyed 12 enemy fighters. Phoenix leader, Seo, reported calmly, "I count 47 confirmed kills." Commander Bay could hardly believe it. 47 in one battle. "Yes, sir. Should I slow down?" Meanwhile, Captain Nejin Kong commanded the massive dreadnought Souls Vengeance as it approached the main battle station. The station was 5 miles wide and covered with weapons. "Captain," said her weapons officer, "the station is targeting us with planet-killer missiles." "Let them try," Captain Kong said. "Activate adaptive shields." The Dominion fired everything they had. Hundreds of missiles and energy beams struck the human dreadnought. But something amazing happened. The ship's shields absorbed the energy and became stronger. "Impossible," shouted the Dominion base commander. "Our weapons are making their shields more powerful." Captain Kong's chip began to glow with absorbed energy. "Return fire," she ordered. The Soul's Vengeance fired once, A single beam of concentrated energy cut through space and struck the battle station. The entire 5-mile structure exploded in a ball of fire that could be seen from 3 star systems away. Target destroyed, Captain Kang reported. Moving to next objective. At the same time, similar battles were happening across the galaxy. Human fleets appeared at Dominion strongholds that had never been attacked before. On the forest world of Vega 27, alien resistance fighters watched in amazement as human ships rescued them from Dominion slave camps. The legends are true, whispered Maritel, leader of the local resistance. The humans have come to free us. The Dominion garrison tried to kill the slaves before the humans could save them, but human soldiers moved faster than thought. They appeared inside the prison camps using teleportation technology. You are free, a human soldier told Maritel in her own language. The Dominion will never hurt you again. The freed aliens cried with joy. For the first time in 50 years, they were not slaves. Back on the Dominion capital world, Empress Vexera watched the reports in horror. Every few minutes, another base went silent. Another fleet was destroyed. Another world was liberated. How many ships have we lost? She demanded. General Kurthok looked at his reports. His hands were shaking. Over 3,000 ships destroyed in the first day. My Empress, the humans have attacked 12 systems at once. We cannot fight them all. 3,000 ships. The Empress could not believe it. We sent our best fleets to those systems. Yes, my Empress. The humans destroyed them all. Their technology is far beyond ours. Our weapons cannot penetrate their shields. Our ships cannot match their speed. On the main screen, they watched recordings from the battle at Kepler 442. They saw Lieutenant Essio destroy 47 fighters by himself. They saw Captain Kong's single shot destroy an entire battle station. My Empress, General Kurtak said quietly, I think we need to consider surrender. Never, the Empress screamed. The Dominion has never surrendered. We will fight until every human is dead. But even as she spoke, more bad news arrived. Alien species across the galaxy were rebelling. Planets that had been loyal for centuries were declaring independence. The Zephyrians have joined the humans, reported an aide. So have the Crystallians and the Voidwalkers. How many species are rebelling? The Empress asked. 43 so far, my Empress, and the number is growing every hour. General Kurthok pulled up a galaxy map. Red dots showed worlds in rebellion. There were hundreds of them. My Empress, the humans are not just fighting us, they are leading a galaxy-wide revolution. Every species we have conquered wants revenge. On Earth, President Han watched the battle reports with satisfaction. Operation Thunderstrike was working perfectly. Madam President, Admiral Kim reported. All 12 primary targets have been secured. Enemy losses are over 4,000 ships. Our losses are minimal. What about the alien allies? President Han asked. Su-Jin, you smiled. Better than we hoped. 67 species have officially joined our alliance. They are providing ships, supplies, and local knowledge. Dr. Choi brought more good news. Our intelligence teams have captured a Dominion command ship intact. We now have access to their military databases. Excellent, President Han said. What did we learn? The location of their capital world, Vexkoroth. It is the most heavily defended system in the galaxy. Over 10,000 ships protect it. President Han's eyes grew hard. Then that is where we go next. In space, the human fleets began to regroup. Ships that had been scattered across 12 systems came together into one massive armada. Commander, Bay's Phoenix Squadron had grown to over 100 fighters. Every pilot was now an ace, with dozens of kills. Captain Kong's Dreadnought led a battle group of 50 capital ships. Each ship glowed with energy absorbed from enemy weapons. Lieutenant Essio, now promoted to captain, commanded his own squadron of the best pilots in human space. All ships, Admiral Kim broadcast to the entire fleet, prepare for hyperspace jump. Destination Vexkoroth. Today we end this war. The human armada was now over 4,000 ships strong. Allied vessels from dozens of species flew alongside them. It was the largest fleet in galactic history. As they prepared to jump, President Han's voice reached every ship in the fleet. Warriors of freedom, she said. Today we strike at the heart of tyranny. Today we free the galaxy from 3,000 years of oppression. Today we show the universe that justice will always defeat evil. The massive fleet disappeared into hyperspace, heading for the final battle. Behind them, 43 star systems celebrated their freedom for the first time in centuries. Ahead of them, the Dominion capital waited in terror, knowing that their empire's end was coming. The human armada emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Vexkoroth system. What they saw took their breath away. The Dominion capital world was surrounded by the largest fleet in galactic history. Over 12,000 warships formed defensive rings around the planet. Battle stations the size of moons floated in perfect formation. Energy shields covered the entire system like a glowing web. Fleet Admiral Dong Hyano stood on the bridge of the flagship. Eternal justice. He had fought in more battles than anyone alive, but he had never seen anything like this. Sir, reported his tactical officer, enemy fleet strength is confirmed at 12,847 ships. They have planet-killer weapons aimed at every allied world. How many ships do we have? Admiral O asked. 4,200 human ships and 3,400 allied vessels from 67 species. Total fleet strength, 7,600 ships. The numbers were not good. The Dominion had almost twice as many ships, but Admiral O smiled anyway. Send a message to all ships. He ordered, today, we end 3,000 years of tyranny. Today, we free the galaxy. On the planet's surface, Empress Vextera stood in her war room deep underground. The walls were covered with screens showing her massive fleet. The humans cannot win, she told her generals. We have more ships, bigger weapons, and stronger shields. This battle will prove that the Dominion is still the strongest power in the galaxy. General Kurthik was not so sure. My Empress, the humans have destroyed every fleet we sent against them. Maybe we should try to negotiate. Negotiate? The Empress screamed. We are gods. We do not negotiate with insects. Today we crush the human rebellion and show the galaxy what happens to those who challenge us. She pressed a red button on her command chair. Activate the Void Destroyer. Deep beneath the planet, an ancient weapon began to charge. It had been built by the first Dominion Emperor 1,000 years ago. It was powerful enough to destroy entire solar systems. My Empress, whispered an old alien scientist named Elder Kethmorin. The Void Destroyer will kill billions of innocent people. Good, the Empress said coldly. Let the galaxy see what happens to those who defy us. In space, the battle began. The Dominion fleet attacked first, sending waves of missiles and energy beams toward the human armada. But the human ships did something unexpected. Instead of fighting in formation, they scattered in all directions. Each ship became an individual hunter, impossible to track or predict. Captain Minho Ru led the first assault wave. His ship dove straight into the enemy formation, quantum folding through space faster than light. All wings, follow my lead, Captain Ru ordered. Show them what human pilots can do. The human fighters moved like a swarm of angry wasps. They appeared behind enemy ships, fired their weapons, then disappeared before the enemy could respond. Lieutenant Colonel Haewon Jung, now commanding her own battle group, discovered something important while studying captured Dominion technology. Admiral O, she reported over the radio, I have found the Dominion's weakness. Their ships all use the same control frequency. If we can jam that frequency, their entire fleet will be paralyzed. Can you do it? Admiral O asked. Give me 10 minutes, sir. While Jung worked on jamming the enemy communications, Captain S. LED Phoenix Squadron in the most dangerous mission of the war. They had to reach the planet's surface and stop the Void Destroyer. Phoenix Squadron, follow me down to the planet, Captain Essio ordered. We need to destroy that weapon before it charges up. 24 of the best pilots in the fleet dove toward the heavily defended planet. Thousands of defense guns fired at them, but the human ships were too fast and too smart. Captain Essio's ship twisted through the defensive fire like it was dancing. His weapons destroyed gun after gun as he flew toward the Imperial Palace. The space battle reached its peak when Lieutenant Colonel Jung finished her work. Admiral, I am ready to jam their communications. Do it, Admiral O ordered. Jung activated her jamming device. Instantly, half of the Dominion fleet stopped working. Ships drifted helplessly in space as their crews lost control of their own vessels. Now, Admiral O shouted, all ships attack. For freedom, the human and allied fleets struck like lightning. Ships that had been helpless targets moments before were now sitting ducks. Captain Kong's dreadnought Soul's Vengeance fired its main weapon again and again. Each shot destroyed multiple enemy ships. The space around Vexaroth filled with the wreckage of Dominion vessels. Commander Bay led a squadron of fighters through the enemy formation. They moved so fast that the Dominion ships could not track them. In minutes, they destroyed an entire wing of enemy fighters. Enemy fleet strength down to 8,000 ships, reported the tactical officer. They are retreating toward the planet. But Admiral O was not finished. All ships, pursue them. Do not let a single Dominion ship escape. On the planet's surface, Captain Essio and Phoenix Squadron reached the Imperial Palace. The building was massive, with towers that reached into the clouds. Phoenix leader to all ships, Essio reported. I can see the Void Destroyer. It is charging up in the basement of the palace. How long until it fires? Admiral O asked. 5 minutes, sir, maybe less. Then you need to hurry. Captain Essio's ship landed hard in the palace courtyard. He jumped out and ran toward the main entrance. Dominion soldiers fired at him, but his personal shield deflected their shots. Inside the palace, he found stairs leading down to the weapon chamber. The Void Destroyer was huge, bigger than a city block. Energy crackled around it as it prepared to fire. At the control panel stood Empress Vextera herself. Stop, Essio shouted, pointing his weapon at her. The Empress turned around. Her 6 eyes burned with hatred. A human insect dares to threaten me. Your empire is finished, Essio said. Surrender now, and your people can live in peace. Never, the Empress screamed. She pressed the firing button. The Void Destroyer began to hum with deadly energy. In seconds, it would fire and destroy the entire human fleet. But SEO was faster. His weapon fired once. The shot hit the weapon's power core and caused a massive explosion. The Void Destroyer collapsed in on itself. The explosion destroyed the entire underground complex but did not reach the surface. Empress Vextera was gone. The weapon was gone. The last hope of the Dominion was gone. In space, the remaining Dominion ships saw the explosion on their homeworld. Their Empress was dead. Their superweapon was destroyed. Their empire was finished. One by one, they began to surrender. This is Admiral O to all Dominion ships. He broadcast, your Empress is dead. Your empire has fallen. Surrender now, and you will be treated with honor. The first Dominion captain to surrender was General Kurthok himself. This is General Kurthok of the Dominion fleet. We surrender unconditionally. Please do not destroy our remaining ships. Admiral O smiled. General, you and your crews will be treated fairly. The war is over. 5 years later, President Han stood before the Galactic Assembly on the former Dominion capital world. Representatives from over 400 species filled the Great Hall. Today we celebrate 5 years of freedom, she said. The galaxy is no longer ruled by fear and oppression. We have built something better together. The crowd cheered. Species that had been enemies for centuries now worked together in peace. Captain Estio, now Admiral Essio, sat in the front row. Next to him were all the heroes of the Great War. They had saved the galaxy and earned their place in history. The Dominion believed that might makes right. President Han continued. We proved that justice and freedom are stronger than any weapon. As she spoke, ships from hundreds of worlds flew overhead in perfect formation. Human ships flew next to alien vessels that had once been enemies. The galaxy was free. The war was over. And humanity had shown the universe that sometimes, the good guys really do win. 10 years had passed since the fall of the Dominion Empire. The galaxy looked very different now. Where once there had been fear and slavery, there was now hope and freedom. On the planet New Harmony, formerly known as Vexgoroth, Ambassador Sujin, you walked through the busy streets. The old Imperial Palace had been turned into a hospital and school. Children from dozens of different species played together in the gardens where the Empress once walked. Ambassador Yu called a familiar voice. She turned to see Miratel, the former resistance leader, who is now the planetary governor. Governor Miratel Sujin smiled. How are the reconstruction efforts going? Better than we hoped, Miratel replied. The old slave factories have been converted into research centers. We are developing new technologies to help heal planets damaged by the Dominion. They walked together toward the new Galactic Council building. It was built in the shape of a circle, with no throne and no place for one person to rule over others. The humans kept their promise, Miratel said quietly. You could have taken control of the galaxy after winning the war. Instead, you gave us all equal voices. Sujin nodded. President Han always said we fought to free people, not to replace one empire with another. In another part of the galaxy, Admiral Seo stood on the bridge of the exploration ship New Horizon. His mission now was very different from the old days of war. He explored unknown regions of space, looking for new species to welcome into the galactic community. Admiral, reported his science officer, we are receiving signals from the Andromeda sector. It appears to be a distress call. From what species? Admiral Essio asked. Unknown, sir. The language is not in our database. Admiral Essio smiled. Then we get to make new friends today. Set course for the signal source. The ship jumped to hyperspace. In the old days, a distress call might have been ignored or used as a trap. Now, it was an opportunity to help someone and grow the galactic family. When they arrived, they found a small fleet of ships under attack by space pirates. The unknown species had technology similar to early human designs, but they were badly outnumbered. This is Admiral Essio of the Galactic Alliance. He broadcast on all frequencies. Unknown vessels, you are under our protection. Pirates, cease your attack immediately. The pirates laughed. One human ship against 20 of us. You are brave but stupid. Admiral Essio's ship moved into position between the pirates and their victims. Pirates, this is your final warning. Leave now, or face the consequences. The pirate leader fired first. His weapons struck the human ship but did no damage. The adaptive shields absorbed the energy and made the ship stronger. Impossible, the pirate whispered. Admiral Essio's ship fired once. A precision beam disabled all 20 pirate ships without destroying them. Pirates, you are now prisoners of the Galactic Alliance. Prepare to be boarded. You will be tried fairly and given a chance to reform. The unknown species sent a grateful message. Thank you, strangers. We are the Stellari people. You saved our lives. Welcome to the galaxy, Stellari friends. Admiral Essio replied. Would you like to learn about the Galactic Alliance? On Earth, President Han now much older but still strong, met with her old war council. They gathered every year to remember those who died in the war and plan for the future. The latest reports show 847 species are now part of the alliance, Dr. Choi announced. That is more species than the Dominion ever controlled. But we controlled them differently, added Captain Nam, now head of the Exploration Service. Every species chooses to join us. Every species has an equal vote in the council. General Lim brought up new challenges. We are receiving reports of a new threat from the outer galaxy, something called the Shadow Fleet. They attack planets and leave no survivors. President Han frowned. How many planets have been attacked? 17 so far, all on the edge of Alliance space. The attacks are getting closer to our core worlds. What do we know about these Shadow Fleet ships? Captain Nam pulled up holographic images. They appear to be unmanned. No life signs detected. Their technology is completely unknown. They seem to absorb energy instead of using it. Dr. Choi studied the data. These ships are unlike anything we have seen. They might not even be from our galaxy. President Han was quiet for a long moment. Generals, prepare our fleets for possible conflict. But remember our principles. We defend, we do not conquer, we protect, we do not destroy. Yes, Madam President, they all replied. Meanwhile, on a secret research station, Lieutenant Colonel Jung, now Dr. Jung, worked with scientists from 40 different species. They were developing new technologies to benefit the entire galaxy. Dr. Jung called her assistant, a young Crystallian named Veltar. The quantum communication project is ready for testing. Dr. Jung smiled. Excellent. If this works, we can have instant communication across the entire galaxy. No more waiting weeks for messages to reach distant worlds. They activated the device. Instantly, messages began flowing from thousands of worlds. Scientists shared discoveries. Doctors shared cures for diseases. Teachers shared knowledge. It works perfectly, Veltar said with excitement. The galaxy just became a much smaller place. Dr. Jung nodded. This is what we fought for, not to rule over others, but to help everyone reach their full potential. On the former Dominion military world of Kethmer, former General Kurthok now ran a school for war orphans. Children from species that had once been enemies learned and played together. General Kurthok asked a young human boy, why did the Dominion fight the humans? The old general sat down with the children. Because we were afraid, he said honestly. We thought being strong meant making others weak. We thought controlling others made us safe. A Zephyrian girl raised her hand. But the humans are stronger than the Dominion ever was. Why don't they control us? General Kurthok smiled. Because true strength comes from helping others become strong too. The humans taught us that freedom shared is freedom multiplied. The children nodded, not fully understanding but knowing it was important. In the depths of space, ancient machines awakened. The Shadow Fleet had been sleeping for 1,000,000 years, waiting for organic life to spread across the galaxy. Their programming was simple: consume all energy, eliminate all life. The first shadow ship detected the quantum communication network Dr. Jung had just activated. The energy signature was different from anything in their memory banks. One ship began moving toward Alliance space, then 10 ships, then 100. The machines had found new prey. The real test of the Galactic Alliance was about to begin. On New Harmony, Ambassador, you received an urgent message from Admiral S.E.O. Sujin. His image said on the screen, we have a problem. The Stellari worlds have gone silent. All of them. No communications, no energy signatures. It is like they just disappeared. Sujin felt a chill run down her spine. How many worlds? 12 inhabited planets. Over 2 billion people. She immediately called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Representatives from hundreds of species gathered in the Great Circular Chamber. Fellow beings, Sujin announced, we face a new threat. An unknown enemy has destroyed the Stellari worlds. We do not know who they are or what they want. A Voidwalker representative stood up. Ambassador, the Stellari were our newest allies. If we cannot protect our friends, who will want to join us? We will find answers, Sujin promised. And we will face this threat together, as we always have. As the council meeting continued, deep space sensors detected something approaching Alliance territory. Hundreds of dark ships moved through space like shadows, leaving empty worlds in their wake. The Shadow Fleet was coming. The galaxy's greatest test was about to begin. But humanity and their allies had faced impossible odds before. They had defeated an empire that ruled for 3,000 years. Now they would face whatever came next. Together, the Age of Heroes was not over yet.